Ivy Valentine subscribes to Mark Yoon. So should you. Enjoy your treat!
Okay, so my job today is to clear up a little bit of confusion that I've been seeing based around a certain topic, which is guest characters, which we covered last week. Now, when we were talking about guest characters last week, there were a lot of different parameters that we were going over, and in particular, we're talking about SoulCalibur and its relationship with guests. It's different from other games. I am aware, you can never know with Harada whether he's memeing or not, because he went into this diatribe of how you have to have actual close personal relationships with certain people with that field. So the person who's in charge of Final Fantasy, you have to go to him and be friends with him in order for him to allow you to use their character. There's nuggets of truth in there, but most of it is, I'd say, not only fallacious, but almost meme level fallacious, which is crazy because people like Maximilian Dude have covered it as if he's this honest interlocutor, which we know that Harada is not. He will meme on Twitter, he will meme to get his way, he will yell at people in an attempt to be funny. So I don't know why really anyone takes what he says as seriously as they do. Basically, when it comes to Harada, if he comes out and says something in an actual official way, when he has something tied to it, like a project tied to it, then we can actually assume that what he's telling is the truth. But if he's replying to somebody or yelling at somebody, I generally just take that as memery. We definitely know on the business end of things how these companies usually conduct business with guest characters and whatnot. If what he's talking about is true, there's almost no way and chance that they would have gotten Negan, because why would Harada not only be able to go directly to Robert Kirkman or Image Comics to get the rights to The Walking Dead, but he'd have to go through several sources because several people owns the rights to certain characters. For example, Image Comics is pretty much run by Todd McFarlane, and Robert Kirkman is the creator of The Walking Dead, but he did it with a partner, and they equally hold the co-rights to that, so they'd have to go to both people. That's just not the way things work. Usually this is all done with lawyers. Usually they draw paperwork, so they'll have a sit-down meeting or an over the Skype, whatever, a video meeting call, and they will talk about their reasons for wanting the character, why it would fit in that perception, how it would benefit the license holder, and then they would talk about payments, about how much they're actually going to pay to license out a temporary license for that character for limited distribution within that game. This ends at a certain period of time, which is why they have to renew it or it gets removed from digital marketplaces. We already know all this stuff. So that being said, going off of what Harada was talking about, let's go into how SoulCalibur specifically works again, and why I believe that this is a little bit of a confusion. So I said that they, after SoulCalibur 2, noticed that they split their player base, and it actually hurt the sales so much of SoulCalibur 2, which I will get to at the poll at the end of this video, that Nintendo no longer had a working relationship significantly with Project Soul in any form or fashion. They actually, the only game, like I said, that they even went to with them after that was SoulCalibur Legends on the Wii, which isn't a mainline game. Even though that game is canon to the old timeline, it's not exactly official or part of the main numbered series games. And that's it. We haven't had SoulCalibur 3, 4, 5, 6 on any Nintendo console at all. When it comes specifically to what I was talking about with cross-promotion, and specifically when it comes to Project Soul saying that they're not going to do any more character-exclusive guests, any more console-exclusive guests, for the foreseeable future, what they meant by that was if the game is available on a certain console, then that character will be available on those consoles. So if you're going to include this, we usually toss PC away right away because PC has its own set of rules, its own set of licensing, its own marketplaces. That's a completely different monster. If you're doing a port of SoulCalibur 6 and it's got Geralt, guess what? PC's getting Geralt. That's just they don't have exclusivity for any characters PC-wise. They're not going to have okay, let's get this one person that appeared in StarCraft to just be on the PC version. That's just not how it works for PC. Console exclusivity, usually between the big three consoles, which would be Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony. When they're actually going to put this game on their consoles, they want to make sure that it's shared across the consoles. So you're not buying 3 different versions of the game, basically, because that's what led to the ultimate downfall of SoulCalibur 2, which led it on its trials now of getting funding and how hard it was for them to bounce back, if they even have yet. What I'm saying in particular is that, when when people are asking for someone like, let's say, Master Chief in like the Xbox version of SoulCalibur, or Kratos in the PlayStation version of SoulCalibur, that's not going to happen because of who holds the license rights, because of who is in charge of distribution of that character. No matter the cost, because they're not going to spend two different things on two different characters. You know, the way they usually do it now is they have like one main guest that they share across the platforms, and then they had their other platforms who are all third party. What do I mean by third party? They're not specifically owned by the platform holders themselves, be it Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony. So they're not going to see specific characters like that. So unless, like, let's say Eve, let's take Eve from Stellar Blade, for example. If that game is going to Xbox, then she qualifies, because that would not be a console exclusive anymore. Why? Because the game is going to appear on Xbox and on PlayStation. PC regardless. But Xbox and PlayStation are the consoles. It's probably not going to appear on Switch, as is the trend, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, if you come to me and you say, well, Mark, Stellar Blade's not going to be just on PlayStation, it's going to be on PlayStation and PC. Again, that doesn't matter. The PC end of it is a totally different beast. It's separate from the consoles and the way they work, so it's not going to have any bearing over the distribution of that. If you say that Eve and Stellar Blade are going to appear on Nintendo Switch and on PlayStation, so it's not console exclusive, she counts, right? No, because if the game is going to appear on Xbox, that has to be a third-party property of Xbox also. Meaning that if we get somebody like, let's say, Dante from Devil May Cry or Nero from Devil May Cry, that game is a third-party affiliate of both of those companies. So it appears on Xbox as it appears on PlayStation. Not one of them holds the unique rights over that. That means that that character can be shared amongst both platforms. So if Dante is the guest character of SoulCalibur 7, that's an easy win. They can use that. Now, this is the first tier of that. We have to also get into cross-promotion and licensing and stuff. Cross-promotion basically means that both parties win out and they make money off of their character being in there on top of the license fees. And they usually, with SoulCalibur, do that with a game that's come out within a year of like when the property is coming out. In particular, it's not The Witcher itself, like I talked about, that Geralt got in. It was The Witcher Complete Edition, which is why that specifically was promoted for that. It's that game, not like The Witcher IP or The Witcher franchise or The Witcher 3 release itself. So I hope that clears up a little bit of things. If we're going to talk about guest characters that are going to possibly come to SoulCalibur 7, the first point that we have to start with is console exclusivity. Now, like I said, even if that character appears on PC or on Nintendo Switch, still means that it's console exclusive to SoulCalibur, because SoulCalibur will appear on Xbox and on PlayStation. So those two consoles, those are the ones that the exclusivity matters for. Doesn't matter for Switch, doesn't matter for PC. So if the property appears on both Xbox in a third-party format and on PlayStation in a third-party format, then the two can actually marry and have that actual guest character appear on both. That's the way that that works. I've seen a lot of comments that are confused about that, and they'll be like, well, this game appeared on PC or this game appeared on Switch, so therefore it's not exclusive. Well, it's exclusive to SoulCalibur. That's the console exclusivity that we're talking about. If it can appear natively in their games without paying for any extra licensing fees or jumping through any extra legal hoops, because let's be honest, with the budget that SoulCalibur gets, it's not likely that they want to go out of their way to take a risk to spend extra money on licensing fees and pay for that constant license use and update for a character that people may not buy. Because another part of this that we have to remember is the player base. Now, this may ruffle some feathers, but it just is what it is. PlayStation has the highest player base of SoulCalibur. That's all there is to it. So it should be their focus, because they know that the most people that are going to purchase their product are going to be on PlayStation. Xbox is last, PC is second, but like I said, we don't really count PC when it comes to this. But PC has the second highest player base and Xbox has the last. I know I have a lot of friends that play SoulCalibur on Xbox. I have it on Xbox as well. A lot of the friends that I have, the reason I got it on Xbox is because they only have it on Xbox. That's not negating those people. I'm just saying overall the player base, the vast majority of them are on PlayStation. Whether that's because Xbox does very poorly in Southeast Asian countries like Japan or Korea, may be part of that. As a Japanese-made game and a distribution that's based on what regions are more popular for that game, I can see why a lot of those games wouldn't really have a large player base or install base on Xbox. Basically, the people that are playing on Xbox are the people that only have an Xbox, or the people that really got into SoulCalibur 2 when Spawn was there and just tried to follow it through on the same console in the forward compatibility arena, which I can totally get and totally understand, which is part of the reason why they don't want to do console exclusive guests anymore. If everyone has the same game, everyone can move forward. We've talked about this before. Without modding on PC, SoulCalibur 2 can actually never be a complete game, because Nintendo is never going to give up the rights to let them use Link again, especially not that version of Link, which was a very specific Link from a very specific game. They have no need to, no desire to. Nintendo honestly doesn't need the money, so they wouldn't really care. They really hold their IP close to their chest, as you know, so Nintendo is really only going to give their characters out and license them out to projects that they actually truly believe in and projects that they believe they will see a return on their investment. And that may not be monetarily, that may be through a new player base and new people coming over to their consoles. That's what they look for. All in all, to clear these things up, these are very easy, confused situations, and I don't want to fault anybody for getting confused with this stuff. I'm even confused at first before I started delving into this stuff, so I can understand why people would like be hesitant or confused or like not understand why their favorite character would get in. A lot of this is personal preference, guys, and I understand that if you only use Xbox, you love Xbox, you're in Xbox's marketplace, you're in their arena, so of course you're going to go on the console war area and you're going to say, hey, Xbox is better because you're an Xbox guy. You may even have both and you primarily play one and you think it's better than the other one genuinely. That's all well and good. That's why these kind of arguments come into play, and people will get hurt because like saying that like Xbox has the lowest install base will hurt their feelings because they're part of that ecosystem. So it's kind of like not I'm attacking Microsoft or whoever's saying it is attacking Microsoft. It's that they're attacking them personally for their personal choices and their personality. So now they feel personally hurt and they're going to clap back against that. That's not how it is though. Whenever I'm talking about these things, it's always based on numbers. It's based on evidentiary reasons that I can see. It's based on empirical evidence. I try really hard not to throw speculation in there unless I specifically tell you that I'm speculating. Everything that like people say you can look up, like the information's out there just like I looked it up. It's not like I pulled this information out of my butt. Like I literally had to research a ton of stuff to be able to make these videos when I'm talking about these very specific things. So I hope this helps a little bit. And again, when it comes to Harada on Twitter, please do not take him seriously unless it's in an official capacity. An official capacity means that he is doing a sponsored tweet or a tweet that is in promotion of a game, something that he is obligated to do from Bandai Namco's perspective, something that he has to push forward. Unless it's something like that, just pretend he's memeing, because 90% of the time he is. He's a memer and that's what he does. So when he asks you to shut up and stop asking for shit, you really should shut up and stop asking for shit, because he's not going to give you a straight answer either way. By the way, he's a general manager at Bandai Namco, which is not like an actual general manager as in like a store. He's just in the management of the company. Like he gets that by default because he is in charge of the esports division of Bandai Namco. That puts him in management. It may be lower management, just like you would see like a shift manager at like a retail store, but those managers don't know what the actual head managers or the heads above them like know. Like they confer and they talk about stuff, but there's also NDAs involved. So just don't. If you're going to email him, like he literally mean by saying like the number one thing that you can do to actually get your favorite guest character in Tekken is to write a handwritten note. Yeah, I get Japanese businessmen are pretty old school when it comes to that stuff, and like a handwritten note is going to go a long way. He's memeing. He's basically saying that like what you guys want out of a guest is not how we're going to go about what guests we're actually going to use, unless we do a poll. Max got that totally right. If a company puts out a poll or a company puts out a survey, take it, because those are the things that they actually focus group. Those are the things that they have board meetings about. Those are the numbers that they show to the project managers in order to get stuff put across. Let's say Glenn from The Walking Dead, he would use those numbers and say, hey, look how many people online voted for this character that they want to see. He's not going to go to Robert Kirkman with like 10,000 handwritten notes and tell him to read them all. That's memeing. He's memeing. I want to finish the video here up with the poll from last week, which is relevant to today's video. And it actually said, which version of SoulCalibur 2 did you purchase? PlayStation 2 version with Heihachi Mishima was 38%, which is the most. I can understand this because PlayStation 2 at that time had the largest install base out of PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. So I can understand why that would actually be. Xbox with Spawn came in last with 14%. GameCube for Link had 25%, and more than one version had 23%. Now this doesn't particularly include the HD Online edition, this is just the physical base games that came out. I at one point had all three. Right now I only have the PS2 version. I am hunting down the Xbox and GameCube version, and I will get them, but this is what this poll is based on. So you can just see just from this poll right here that you're seeing on screen with the comments out of 348 votes that most people that at least voted on this poll in this small focus group bought the PlayStation 2 version, and Link came in second, but for Nintendo, that's going to be no bueno. Like for Nintendo, they're going to say, we wanted to see gangbusters, we wanted to see the popularity of our character, we wanted to see this install base come over to Nintendo to play our new Zelda game, and we didn't see that, basically because their numbers are always their numbers, and none of them report them, so that's all there is to it. But that's going to be the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. There's a lot of confusion out there and a lot of misinformation, and my sole purpose here on YouTube is literally to help clear up misinformation and to help you guys discover the actual information on your own, not just by telling you from me word of mouth. I hope you research what I say as well. And don't believe anybody who just says things as a matter of fact. Everything needs to be fact checked. But that's going to be the video for today. I want to thank you guys for watching, liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. You really help about the channel a lot. You really help me out a lot. Thanks to my members, especially Ken Trade Games and the Algol tier. If you want to join the membership, all that stuff's at, in the description box and whatnot. And join the Discord if you want to chat about anything you want to chat about. Link is also in the description box below. And as I always say, guys, I love it. Thank you.
And thank you.